Hey guys, what's up? It's FemGem here, and today's going to be bringing my 70 subscriber special. And I'm going to be bringing one of my deck profiles again. And today I'm going to be bringing you my parshath deck. You can call it a parshath deck, a fairy deck, any type deck, and you can call it either one. But I'm just going to call it the fairy deck because that's easier to say than parshath. I also was thinking when I got this set of redoing the agents monsters, but I realized I didn't have enough Master Hyperions, and I didn't want to order more, But, either way, this is the deck that I made. I'm pretty sure I made this mostly out of the $30 I spent on 3 different structure decks. So it's not the best competitive deck. I'm going to warn you now, I do not have an extra deck for this, because I kind of just made this randomly, just to see how it was. It's a pretty good deck, truthfully. I would bring to locals. Maybe not, obviously not regional or something like that, but definitely locals. Anyway, let's get into deck profile. First, I run 3 full Artemis. Artemis is really good because each time you activate a counter trap card, immediately after resolve, I can draw 1 card. So it's very good because you actually have a lot of counter traps in this deck. So that's very helpful. Draw power. Next, I run 2 Guiding Aridine, or 3 Guiding Aridine. Guiding Aridine is really good because when you put it in the pendulum zone, he gains the effect that I don't have to pay any life points. Like, let's say we have a solemn warning or something like that. You don't have to pay the life point cost to activate it. And then also you don't have to discard cards to activate other cards. Like, for example, what's it called? I know there's a couple of, the parshath card, the new Sanctuary Sky they kind of made for this deck, has a discarding effect, but you can just cancel that with him in your pendulum zone. And then his monster effect is, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can reveal 3 counter traps from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 for you to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest into your deck. So that's pretty good. Like, if you choose, basically, some really good counter traps, obviously, you can get a good counter trap in your hand and then combo off from there. That's pretty good. Next, I run 3 Minerva, Scholar of the Sky. Minerva is really good, mostly for the fact that each time a counter trap card is activated, immediately after it resolves, this card gains 500 attack, so that's an attack power by itself. And if it does gain the attack and Sanctuary Sky is on the field, you can add 1 counter trap from different name from your graveyard to the hand, so you can recycle like Solemn Warning and all the other counter traps that come in this deck. So it's really good for recycling old cards. Next, I run 2 Secret Arcanite parshaths. Surprisingly, this is kind of the most relevant parshath card that actually has parshath in the name that I use in the deck. But definitely he's a high beat stick, and basically his effect is pretty similar to most of the effects that go off of the fact that when I activate counter traps, they go well with it. So, I think the best thing about these cards is that they all pretty much have an effect that would activate if you activate a counter trap, and the amount of counter traps is really big in here. Next, I run 1 Maleta Sage of the Sky. I was thinking about running more of these, but I kind of seen that 1 is that good, actually. I might bump it up to 2, but no more than that. Each time a counter trap card is activated, immediately after and resolves, this card you gain 1,000 life points, and if Sanctuary Sky is on the field, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So that's really good for the popping effect and the life point gain. And life point gain is a really big thing right now, mostly for the fact of time. get the new rules in tournament time. So basically, you can get your life points up to at least like 12,000, 15,000 if you start out with 8,000 really fast, and basically that will hopefully allow you to stall out your game. And if you really want to go that route, you can stall out the game and basically win by default because you probably have more life points than the other person. So that's a little bit interesting. Obviously, with that effect, you can maybe run that at 2 or 3 if you want, but I might bump it up 2, but right now I'm seeing that 1's pretty useful right now. Next, I run 2 Power Angel Valkyria. This card is effective if you negate the activation of a spell, trap card, or monster effect. Add 1 light fairy monster from your deck to your hand. And you can only use the effect once per turn. So, it's a pretty good effect. Truthfully, I think I could, if I need to make a room, I could bump this down to 1. But I also like the fact that this works well with your, like, solemn warnings, and your even, I might put some twin twisters in here later. But right now, that's what I'm working with. I'm not really working with that right now. For the fact that, of her effect. And next, I run, for the monster lineup, I run 2 Honestes. Honest is just really good because, like, basically, he's probably the least used hand trap, besides maybe, like, Karibo. Nobody really uses Karibo that much, sadly. But, he's a hand trap, basically, and he's a very easy hand trap to buy. Doesn't cost much, and basically, what happens is, during your main phase, you return this face-up card from the field to the hand. During the damage step, when a light monster you control battles, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. That monster gains attack equal to the attack of your opponent's monster. So basically, it's basically allows you to overpower probably like all the monsters when it comes to attack. So that's really good. And now for the spell lineup, I run 3 Tithes of the Brethren. I could bump this down to 2, but right now I'm liking how it is at 3. I run 2 Valhalla of the Fallen. Valhalla of the Fallen is Valhalla Hall of the Fallen, of the Fallen is really good for the fact that if you get a really annoying hand where, like, you have a bunch of monsters that you either need tribute or you need a way to special summon them, and you're going second, or even if you just, like, well, actually, mostly for when you're going second, but it still helps either way. You can play this card, and it allows you to special summon a monster if you have no cards on your side of the field. So that's pretty good. Next, I run 3, the Sanctuary of the Parshath, or the Sanctum of the Parshath. Basically, this is the new version of Sanctuary of the Sky. Basically has a little bit different effects. This card needs to become Sanctuary of the Sky, so yeah, it does. It has the effect of, basically, it doesn't have the effect of the damage reduction, but it has the effect where, like, it will go off with any other card effect that would say you can only activate this if Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field. So this is considered Sanctuary of the Sky. And while it's on the field or in the graveyard, it's Sanctuary of the Sky. Fairy monsters on the field gain 300 attack, so that's a bit of an attack boost. Set spells and traps cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Once per turn, you can target a total of 3 fairy monsters and or counter traps with different names in your graveyard. Place them on the top of your deck in any order. So basically, once again, it's more of a recycle than anything. It's a recycle, basically, of any cards in your graveyard, spells and traps. Also, it's a protector of your back row. I think it's really good because, I think I showed you this deck profile, and if I didn't, I know it's on my channel, so be sure to check it out after this if you want to. But my friend plays a Dark Magician deck that I helped him make against me, and a lot of times it's really annoying because I am back row heavy, so he activates usually like Dark Magic attack as soon as he gets the Dark Magician, so it's really annoying to me, and this is a great way to counteract that because he can't activate it because it won't target my cards. So, but then I run 2 Sanctuary and Sky that I consider also bumping it down to 1, but it's really good actually in the sense that whenever your opponent attacks a fairy monster, and even if it's destroyed, any of the battle damage involving that card would be reduced to 0. So basically, your opponent really cannot inflict damage to you unless they use either burn cards or be able to get through your defenses and attack you directly. So that's really good. And now moving on to the trap lineup. I run 2 Divine Punishment. Divine Punishment is basically a negate to the activation of monster effect, spells and traps, any other card really. All you need to have is Sanctuary and Sky to activate and resolve it. Next I run 2 Ultimate Providence. Ultimate Providence is a really good card because it's another negate, kind of like Divine Punishment, except when a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, discard the same type of card, monster, spell, or trap, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So basically, let's say someone activates the Regeki, you can just discard a Regeki, maybe, if you have that in your hand, and negate that. So that's really good. And then I run 3 Rebirth of the Parshath. This is another recycler. When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, reveal 1 counter trap in your hand. Discard 1, pay 1,000 life points. Negate the activation. If you do, shuffle that card into the deck. Then you can special summon 1 Parshath. So basically, this is basically a searcher by the fact that it allows you to send your certain cards to the graveyard, thus activating the effects of the recycling. Plus, it also allows you to special summon a monster, so it searches out a monster for you. So it's a really good card. I enjoy it, and truthfully, maybe I'm just bad because like maybe I only play locals, but I'm surprised this deck like hasn't been in a competitive aspect because this seems really good, personally. And next, I play 3 Drastic Drop-Off. What Drastic Drop-Off does is when your opponent adds a card / cards from their deck to their hand, including drawing, they must discard 1 card. So basically, if they activate Pot of Duality, you can make them discard a card. If they activate Pot of Indulgence, all these other pot cards. And then I run 3 Recall. Recall is really good when your opponent activates the monster effect. Your opponent draws 1 card. Also negate the activation if you destroy it. So it's giving your opponent a little bit of advantage. It's kind of like a dark bribe in the sense, but I feel like it's kind of worth it because like sometimes it just won't be able to get their plays off then. And then, wow, I could have swore I did run 3 Divine Punishment, but surprise, I guess I did not organize that correctly, but whatever. Next I run the card that's kind of like Recall, Dark Bribe, and 1 Solemn Warning. And that's it for the deck profile. I will probably see if I want to even play this more competitively. I've bring to my locals a couple times. And if I do, I'd probably figure out a way to get a, extra deck to it. But for now, that was it. Wait a second, I'm trying to get this back into the rubber band without bending it too much. Alright, no, not that bad. Could be worse. I'm just using this because I'm kind of desperate in the sense that I don't have deck boxes. Right. Well, I don't have, I have deck boxes, but I don't have deck boxes that I'm willing to, open up space for this deck. Kind of rather run the other decks, but, Rubber Band really isn't that bad of a choice, you know. It's convenient, you know. Plus, also, if you sleeve them all, it's pretty good because sleeving does protect most of the damage that it will take. Obviously, I'm not telling you to rubber band any of your cards that aren't sleeved, but you know, do what you gotta do. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.